Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Live from iRacing's virtual Road Atlanta, welcome sim racing fans to the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship live on Apex Racing TV. Happy that you're all able to join us for the fourth round of the campaign here from Virtual Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia, USA. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside me in the commentary booth is Andy Thompson with Samuli Kumo down in the virtual production trailer, bringing you all of the coverage here tonight in the fourth round of the campaign. Andy, we're already going to be putting half of the season behind us once the checkered flag falls on the feature race tonight, and a lot is at stake. A tight battle at the top of the points championship, and Bo Albert trying to run away, but you can see just how close the Fox Gaming drivers are there in P2 to each other. They have a good bit of 62 points to try and catch up to Bo at the front.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bo seems to be pulling away at the moment from the championship. The drop round hasn't been applied yet, so that will make a big difference when the drop round does come in at the end of this race. So, you know, the one to look at is Luke McCowan in fourth place. Obviously, had that absolute terrible Charlotte, getting right down the position. I think he ended up in a P35 for the first round. And in fact it was P20 for the first round, and then since then he's got a first place in Hungaroring and second place in Nürburgring, so basically on a charge at the moment. So once that drop round score comes into play, I think we may see a little bit of movement. And on the AM champion side, we got Daniel Porter at the moment. You know, he's been Mr. Consistent at the moment to get into that feature race on the B format that we've had. But obviously tonight's a completely different format setup. So we're on the A format, which is two 25-minute races. So very much a different mindset that the drivers are going to have over the first 3 rounds, which were a pretty much sprint race. This championship is 2:25 minutes, so more of a long game attitude that you need to take the lap. They've got 10 seconds left. Can't see it moving too much from there.
Going to conclude qualifying. Time to go racing in heat number 1. Top 25 will be inverted at the end of this race, and then they'll go racing in the feature race tonight. So whoever finishes P25 is going to be starting on the pole in the feature. It's Bo Albert who sits on the pole position with Kim Strom to his outside. Roger Christensen, Emil Vimbo, Kio Tiago Martau rounding out the top 5. Scott Mokes in P6, Damian Harris P7, Thomas Wangen, Max Kessler, and Lewis Ward the top 10. James Parker, Mikey Pollard, Marcel Fritsch, Jesse Hialaho, and Ross Dunstan top 15, with Darren Fell, Henning Stullinger, ARA Joe Montes, Gordon Oberman, and Dennis Meisner, the top 20. Craig Salter, Oliver Holtke, Nikolay Polyakov, Nikola Forza Lippi on top 24, with P25 being Yannick Heinet. And then Daniel Porter and Adam Starzinski with Austin Neal rounding out the top 28 drivers, and the 28 drivers who are ready to take the green flag here from Virtual Atlanta. Just like every round of the championship, standing start here for a new format. 25 minutes will be on the clock here for heat number 1. Everybody will advance into the feature, but the top 25 will see an invert. This is going to be a huge shakeup when it comes to the points championships for both categories. Really unknown what we will see this afternoon, but the cars are taking to the grid here at Road Atlanta. It is time to see them race down into turn number 1 for the first time. Make sure to watch them going 2 by 2 up the hill, back down the hill, and right back up the hill through Sector 1 here at Road Atlanta. Time to go green in the first and only heat of the night. We are underway for 25 minutes, and it's a good start for Bo Albert. The 2 Fox Gaming drivers get away well as well. Strom and Christensen stay side by side. They duck into line. Top 3 will go single file through T1. Emil Vimbo stuck to the outside of Scott Mokes, trying to make something happen on the inside. It's Harris, Wangen, Kessler, Ward, and Martel the top 10. Martel with a disastrous start. Fell from 5th, now down to P10 as they all go single file. Down the hill, they go right back up. Everybody gets through clean as they single file it out, get into one long draft train here, Andy. Pretty typical of these Porsches, but once they get close enough, we could see some action. Already seeing a car go off. That's Damian Harris.
Yeah, Damian Harris hitting the wall there coming out of turn number 5. You know, very easily done, certainly on the first lap of this track. You know, cold tyres, and as we saw during the qualifying, the car gets all over the place going up that turn 5. But, you know, pretty much a static start at the moment for the top 10, apart from Martin, who obviously had a disastrous start there, probably bogged it down off the line and managed to lose 5 places off the line, but has managed to claw back 1 place. So not a lot of movement, and he's just managed to make another one. So trying to get back off his terrible start at the moment. We're currently sat in P8 at the moment, so we've got Bill Albert at the front and Kim Strom, very first race today. Great showing at the moment in second, and tucked up nicely behind Bo Albert. Roger Christensen in third, his teammate from Fox Gaming. So I wonder if we see a bit of Fox Gaming tactics here, where Christensen maybe back up the rest of the field to let Strom get away. I don't know at the moment, but all in a nice possession as they come back down through turn number 3, 4, and up the hill to turn 5.
And 1 lap behind us, and already about 2 minutes behind us as well, as pretty much everybody staying single file, staying relatively cordial as they go back up the hill, and there goes off track goes Martel in the 222, gets a little bit of contact with the wall. Didn't look like any hard damage, or has a bit of damage to that side. Didn't look like a hard hit, I should say, to the right side of that Porsche. We'll see if he has any specific damage that he's going to need to come in to get fixed in the pit lane, but the 222 going to fall to P11 now after starting 5th here in the first race. Let's see what happened You're on board with Damian Harris looking up at the 222. You get a little bit too much on the curb here, it looks like. Maybe so, and you can see the 222 up in front go into the wall, take a nice slam into it, and doesn't look like any huge damage that Martel might need to get fixed, but he is going to come in and fix it anyway. This could actually be relatively good for him, Andy, because remember, top 25 invert. He might be looking at the positions or who's back there for P25 thinking, I can pit, get my damage repaired, make it back to P25, and maybe start on pole for the second race of the day.
Yeah, definitely. He's had not the best two starts today as we watch Ross Dunstan coming in on an orthodox line there, coming over turn 3, trying to cut that corner. But, you know, you can see how much the car moves around if you take too much of that corner there, and managing to stay in front of Germantus in 16th. But, yeah, taking some very unorthodox line there as we watch the 145 trying to get up onto the inside there through turn number 6. Managing to get the move done nicely over Jess Hilbert. Oh, bit of a wide one there from Jess, I think, coming out of that corner. But the 132 car is yeah, lost about 3 places there. So not the best corner there at turn number 7 for the 132 car.
That's going to put Fell a little bit further down the running order as we see a line of 4 here. Here comes Salter to the inside of Dunstan. Can he peek that nose in there by the apex? No, he cannot. Damage to the front end of Dunstan's 277. We'll see if that is going to affect anything, but these Porsches front end damage you can take a little bit more front-end damage with these Porsches than you can with a couple other cars, especially the oval cars of the NASCAR variety. They take a little bit of front-end damage. You could have a punched hole in the radiator. These Porsches can take a little bit more of a beating on the front end of these machines before they start to have any real problems. They can take a good bit of aerodynamic damage before they start having any real problems. As we take a look back up front, Logitech G-Altus Esports continues to lead the way in Bo Albert in the 143, working out of turn 7. They'll go through turn 8 and down the long straightaway leading into 10A, 10B. It's Kim Strom and Roger Christensen, 2nd and 3rd, both for Fox Gaming. Then you have Kairos Competition and Emil Vimbo in P4 with Scott Mokes and Team Mokes running in P5 at the moment as we see the battle for the lead starting to develop. Vimbo and Mokes go side by side heading into 10A. Who's going to win that battle? Looks like Vimbo going to be able to hold on to the spot, but battle for the lead continues on as Bo Albert leads the way. Kim Strom in 2nd place. When is Strom looking at making the move? He was faster than Bo Albert last time by. Needs to be careful with the move, Andy, because if you're not already alongside with another Porsche going into the corner, trying to make that apex, if you're not already side by side, it can become a dangerous pass because they're going to try and close that door as quickly as they can. Could lead to contact, not only putting you out of the race, but the other driver as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously the best opportunity that Strom's got for passing Albert is coming out of turn 7, the long straightaway down turn 8, 9, down to the 10A corner. So that's probably been his best bet. He's tucked right up behind him. So I'm not really seeing like the slipstream effect to be really strong in these cars because it doesn't seem to be closing that much up on Bo Albert, keeping the gap. So unless the setups, and Bo Albert's got a really low downforce on that with Strom giving a little bit more, the slipstream would have thought it would have been a bit stronger. But, you know, you're not seeing it on screen with Kim Strom just maintaining that gap to Albert at the moment. But Strom and Christensen at the moment with Albert are pulling away from Vimbo in 4th place, so this gap now around about 2 seconds. So these front 3 are certainly pulling away, and it'd be these 2 teammates working together to try and topple the Logitech G-Altus Esports dominance at winning these feature races.
Yeah, and the dominance is true with that G-Altus Esports clan. Of course, Bo Albert and Luke McCowan on the same team, and McCowan, looking down the timing sheet, we do not have Luke McCowan in this race, so leads Bo Albert to be the sole Logitech GLS Esports driver in the field to try and walk away with that feature win. Already getting a good start, but that top 25 invert is going to come into play. And if Bo Albert can make it from 25th to 1st, I have no issue saying Bo Albert is the driver to beat this season. But that is such a tough challenge, especially in these Porsches. And we're already coming up about quarter of the way through this race. On board with Max Kessler, trying to get P7 away from Ward and Team 11. He'll peek out to the inside, side by side, and gets the move made before they even commit to the corner. That is exactly how you should make a move here in these Porsches. Move up into P7 for Impulse Racing and Max Kessler as they race back to the line.
Yeah, definitely. What the cars need to be aware of as well is the amount they're taking these curbs. Although these cars can take a lot of punishment, if they continue to take it and take it aggressively, it could damage the underside of the cars. And I was watching the Radical race around Sebring, and one of the cars actually blew its engine for going too aggressively over these curbs. So, you know, although these cars are a bit more, probably more strengthened than the Radicals, you know, it's still going to be causing damage because you can see how the cars are bouncing around. Certainly coming up here into turn number 5, getting that outside wheel onto the grass as well. So you've got to be really careful with taking too much of the curb. But at the moment, like you say, nearly 9 minutes into the race, I'm currently on board with Max Kessler. Already made the pass off Lewis Ward and is now lining up Scott Mokes. It'd be interesting to see if he can do the same move like he did on Lewis Ward. Tucked up nicely behind Mokes there, coming down into turn 10A. Will he pull onto the inside, or will he just bide his time for this lap and go out? But Mokes doing the defensive line, going on the inside to not giving Kessler the option. So Kessler will be coming around the outside. Not quite getting the move. Mokes did a very good defensive job keeping Kessler behind, but what it does do is brings Ward right up to the back of Kessler now. So this 3 with nearly a 4th car coming onto the back here of Harris. Could be a 4-car train here for P6.
And take a look at that defense when they went down into 10A. Some amazing defense from Scott Mokes to protect that inside line before they even went to the braking zone. Exactly how you should be defending here in these Porsches. They can take a bit of a beating on each other going door to door, but if you beat one too many times, you will go spinning, as top 5 remains relatively the same. Albert, Strom, Christensen, Wimbo, Wangen. We're watching the battle for P6 between Mokes, Kessler, Ward, and now Damian Harris. Impulse Racing versus Team 11 versus 2 privateers at the tail end of this pack, and we can add James Parker into this one as well, make it a 5-car battle here for P6. And there's the 120 of James Parker for the pro category. Not really setting the field on fire, but some consistent finishes from Parker as we see a side-by-side battle as Wangen tries to go to the inside of Wimbo. Does exactly that, put Wangen up into P4. Started in 8th place at the start of this race, and there's the defense coming out from Wangen, almost pushing Wimbo off into the grass.
Yeah, definitely. You had to go really hard defensive coming down there out of the last turn on the start-finish straight to try and make sure that Wimbo didn't get that position back from him. So a great recovery. So you see the Norwegian guys there, 2nd, 3rd and 4th at the moment for Fox Gaming. So Fox Gaming having a really good opening round here with their drivers 2nd, 3rd and 4th at the moment. And obviously Strom is challenging Albert quite hard there, but we're looking at the back end of the field here with Yannick Hignet in 20th place. So at the moment on the bubble is Hockley in 25th, so he would be the reverse grid pole for race number 2 at the moment. So everything to play for, even in the lower parts of the fields, because the whole field will literally get reversed for race number 2, and that is going to be an absolute epic opening 4 or 5 laps to see how the fast runners at the front will be able to get around the more slower runners that will be at the front in race 2. So that's going to be an interesting prospect coming up. But we've still got half this race left to go, and we're currently watching Adam Starzinski and Dennis Meiser having a little bit of battle over 22nd place at the moment. So yeah, battling out quite hard all over the field.
So we mentioned that earlier in this race, Thiago Martau came into the pits. Here's Damian Harris coming into the pits, presumably to get that damage fixed on the front end of that car. But we mentioned the pit stops for Martau and how that could help him out with the reverse grid. He's back up into P19. Definitely going to help him. And Damian Harris also going to get a bit of a help in the reverse grid from this one as well. Remember, top 25 will be inverted, so 25th place will be starting on the pole for race number 2, the feature race of the night. Harris going to go down into P22 for the meantime, giving him a 4th place starting spot when it comes to the feature. Bit smart, Andy. You get the damage fixed, you get a better starting spot for the feature. Seems like a win-win. So we see Fox Gaming go side by side. Christensen pulling out a line. Gonna have to go the long way round into 10A to try and get around their teammate Kim Strom. But Strom gonna not give up a fight. Let him go by easy. And Christensen moves up into P2 to try and chase down Albert. Last time by, Christensen was about 2.5 tenths faster than Bo Albert.
Yeah, I think their teammates are there probably swapping positions just to see if Roger Christensen can actually challenge Bo Albert here. So it's probably a bit of a tactical move there because Strom was actually quite quick. And it did look that that was a relatively easy pass there from Christian. So the teammates probably just deciding to have a little switch around to see if Roger Christensen can actually challenge Bo Albert at the moment. But he's pretty much felt, oh, Scott Mokes there coming off. Where's that? That's turn number 1. So first real casualty here of turn number 1. So we can see Mokes here at the moment. Just he'll go behind him. So coming up, is it a little bit wide? No, unfortunately it goes a little bit too wide, and that's a terrible place to be on this track, being wide into turn 1 as we saw there by Scott Mokes.
So issues for Mokes in the 110. Luckily he's back going P10 at the moment. Started in 6th, so down 4 spots from where he started, but definitely not a terrible day for the 110 as well. And the reverse grid, Andy, brings up a bit of an interesting game that's going to be played in the middle portion of the field as we see Kessler go on by Ward once again, put Kessler up into P6. Trying to chase down Emil Vimbo for the top 5, gets loose coming through the middle of the chicane. Gives Ward an opportunity to fight back, and it makes a look to the inside, but the Team 11 driver not going to be able to move up into P6. Kessler going to try and pull away with Impulse Racing in that 6th spot. But in the middle of this top 25 right now, mainly talking about Jomontis, Fritsch, Dunstan, becomes a weird game for them. Do they want to go forward or do they want to go backward? Because especially talking about Dunstan and Fritsch, really 13th and 14th as they go battling, they're essentially going to be starting in the exact same spot as they were with the inverse than where they finish here in this heat race. So it becomes an interesting game for the drivers in the middle. If they want to try and go back, get a better starting spot, or go forward, maybe try and get some more points out of this heat, becomes a weird game for them because they're just sort of in the middle of the field. Nothing to gain, but also nothing really to lose.
No, definitely. I think for the sort of mid-packs, you know, you lose 1 point for every position you lose, or 1 point gain for every position you gain. So it'd be interesting to see if anybody decides, right, do you know what, I'm going to lose 5 places to get more closer up to the front of the grid. Gives me a better runaway with all the rest of the strong pros having to fight their way through. And maybe have the idea to get out front to begin with. Oh, as we watch Lewis Ward there getting a little bit bent out of shape. What was that? Coming down into, what was that? Turn. Oh, coming up the, oh, last corner is the chicane there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see there if we see some of the pros starting to lose positions to try and get closer to the front of the grid, because that's where all the big points are, and the big point drop-offs are from first down to sort of 6th, and then it goes just 1 point from there. So Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what these pros at the back end of the field decide that they want to do. But Harris at the moment, as we know, is quite fast. Obviously, been in the pits to get repaired from a heavily damaged car. Seems to be sitting pretty there as we watch Lewis Ward literally near enough get airborne off turn number 5 as we watch Pollard at the background doing a bit of dirt road racing to try and keep his car in a straight line.
Actually, I believe it was the 240 of Nikolay Polyakov, who currently sits 1 lap down. Looked like it was the 240 machine. As we have another Fox Gaming sparring match. To the inside goes Kim Strom. Not going to have enough going into the braking zone. Also, maybe electing not to go too aggressive against their teammate, who currently runs right in front of them. Second, third, fourth, all Fox Gaming competitors with Christensen, Strom, and Wangin. Emil Vimbo rounds out the top 5 for Cairo's competition, and setting the pace at the front is Bo Albert for Logitech G Altus Esports. The top 5 currently only has 3 represented teams. Reminds me a little bit of the Force Dynamics Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship yesterday. Apex Racing Team 2, 3, 4, 5 coming across the line, with Martin van Luzenoord taking the win at the front for RAG. And take a look at this battle in between Wangin and Vimbo. Vimbo not giving it up, as right on the back bumper, giving a little bit of a shove, going to the inside, heading into turn 6. Can they make it stick? It's contact. Vimbo loose, sending up the racetrack. Thomas Wangin for Fox Gaming, able to hold on to it, both of them. But here comes the 276, I believe, the 273, yes it is, of Nikolay Forza Lippi. 1 lap down. Don't worry about that, Porsche. Not in this battle for P5 on the lead lap. As Wangin steps out of line, is Vimbo going to get too defensive on the inside? They can. They get defensive on the outside, trying to go back on offense. Can they keep the inside advantage? No, they cannot through 10B. And back into P4 goes Thomas Wangin. Some great racing here with about 6 minutes to go in Heat 1.
Yeah, definitely. One thing we haven't sort of talked about is the team championship at the moment. So Fox Gaming, from this round, being in 2nd, 3rd and 4th, the top 3 drivers all scoring points in that team championship, only having the one Altus G Esport driver. You know, currently the Altus Logitech G Altus Esports are in the lead on 648 points, but the Fox Gaming guys, who are in 2nd place at the moment, are on 624. So we'll massively close that gap in the team championship, with the Fox Gaming guys being in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So in that championship, certainly they will be clawing it back and possibly going ahead of the Logitech G Altus Esports guys for the first place in that team championship. So obviously that's something to be played for as well.
We're nearing 5 minutes left here in the heat. Really looking forward to this feature race, because Bo Albert has an opportunity to be the only driver this season to go back-to-back after last week being the only driver to win 2 feature races for the pro category this season. As far as the AM category for the finals, Daniel Porter won at round 1, Nikolay Polyakov in round 2, and then Kio Thiago Martau in round 3. Look at this battle for P11. That's Mokes and Joe Montes, I believe, that just made some slight contact there. Actually, no, that was the lap machine of the 240 of Nikolay Polyakov getting into the mix. So this is just a battle between Mokes now and Erajus Joe Montes, I believe. No, that will be Jesse Kiliaho in front of this group, P10 in the battle for 10th place. Mikey Pollard in the 173, a little bit up the road, but Mokes trying to make something happen from the tail end of the 145, trying to go into the top 10, or back into the top 10, I should say. Started P6 here in heat number 1, and unfortunately falling now outside of the top 10, trying to get back into those top 10 spots. But where they are right now, Andy, I'm wondering if they don't want to go too far up, because they're going to be starting about mid-pack with the invert going into the feature race. Just so crazy to be talking about a top 25 invert, because right now we're talking about Oliver Holtzke starting on the pole.
Yeah, definitely. But have a look at Damien Harris there, down in 23rd. So last time we spoke, he was in 20th position. So maybe he is looking at that reverse grid pole at the moment. So he went into the pits to get repaired, moved down 3 places, and possibly he's looking at that reverse grid pole saying, do you know what? I'll lose another 2 points to have the opportunity. Going exceptionally slow. He might have had a slow down there, but what's his lap times doing? So he did a 1:29, so 8 seconds slower. So I think he is listening into the broadcast and looking at that 25th reverse grid pole position.
And Damian Harris, after pitting, definitely had a good strategy, getting himself back into P24 on the field. So we'll see what happens with Harris and Holtzke and everybody else on this racetrack and how they're going to end up lining up for this feature race. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of pro drivers dealing with some AM traffic to try and get themselves back to the front of the field. They have caught up to Mikey Pollard. By they, I mean Hiliaho and Mokes, and pushing him off the track goes Hiliaho. And off track goes Pollard, loses 2 positions, now outside the top 10. And here comes Scott Mokes to go side by side. He chooses the long way around. He needs to complete this pass before the braking zone. Can they do it? One driver getting into trouble through 10A up ahead, and keeping the inside advantage is Hiliaho. Still side by side, Mokes has to give way as they came over the curb, bounced a little bit too much, keep Hiliaho inside the top 9 in 9th place.
Yeah, definitely big battle over Hiliaho and Mokes in 10th, real epic battle. You know, the classic Porsche racing that we come to see within these races, a lot of door rubbing, a lot of side-by-side action, but these guys giving each other a lot of space to try and get it through the corner, but some great racing there, and pretty much I think that's going to go all the way to the line as we're watching. Germantus currently in P12, just behind Pollard, so he probably will be looking for that P11 finish, but I don't think he will be getting up into the top 10. But you know, the guys now literally just over a minute left within this race, will be starting to think, do you know what, do I need to keep this place? Can I afford to lose some places? We watch Austin Neal there in 22nd place, going a little bit wide out of there, and yeah, it's going to be interesting for this reverse grid in race 2. You know, Albert at the moment at the front seems to be pulling away from Strom and Christiansen, so it'd be really interesting to see if he can come through the field and sort of what position he can end up. But you know, we know he's an extremely fast driver, so I'm pretty sure that he will make his way back up to the front half of the grid, but it depends on how far he can get up, and it all depends on the rest of the pros that are down below. If they try to move back, as we see Harris there in 24th position, managing to keep his pace up now to a 1:22, so very much does seem like he's looking for that front row for race number 2.
So they will take the white flag this time by as Bo Albert comes through turns 7 and 8. And Harris has started to slow down. This is going to be a game of chicken here at the back, I feel, Andy, because here comes Holtzke. He's going to catch up at some point. Question is Holtzke willing to pass Damian Harris, or are they both going to slow down at the tail end of this field? There's the WS Racing Esports blue number 242. Watch the gap. Harris has started to speed back up, but Holtzke is catching now as Harris slows back down. This is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it definitely is. The problem is Oberman's not that far behind Holtzke in 25th place, so he just needs to be aware of that. It probably opens an interesting debate whether this is fair or not, but I suppose it's well within the rules. If you want, you know, I don't see why a driver couldn't do this. Maybe a bit unsportsmanlike and not looking at it, but certainly looking at the long-term game, I think.
And the leaders have already come across the start-finish line for the checkered flag. Top 12 come across. There's a celebration for Bo Albert. He wins your heat race here tonight. Dunstan comes home P13. Porter, Fell, Salter, Martel, Fritsch all coming across the line. Highnet next. And Starzinski, Meisner, Neal, Stullinger, Harris, and Holtzke also going to come across the line. Holtzke has caught up to Damian Harris. Will they pass each other? Stullinger passes Neal. There's the 242. That's the car you want to watch of Holtzke. How much is Harris going to slow down here as they come to the line, and is Holtke going to pass? Take a look at the fight. Is Holtke going to go for a pass? Here they come out of 10A and B. He's not going to do it. Harris is going to start P2 in the feature. And your reverse grid pull is going to go to Oliver Holtke. And WS Racing Esports Blue officially at the line. Give P25 to Holtke.
Yeah, I thought he was going to break on the line there to let Holtke through to 2024. But, I mean, that was interesting bit of tactics there, though, for the second race. He puts him in a really strong position, has a lot of amateur drivers between himself and the rest of the pros. But we'll take you through the results of Heat 1. So Bo Albert in first place, Kim Strom in second, Roger Christensen third, Thomas Vangen in fourth, Emil Wimbo fifth, Max Kessler in sixth place, James Parker seventh, Lewis Ward in 8th, Jesse Hilgaro in 9th, Scott Mokes in 10th. So Jesse winning out on that battle between himself and Scott. Michael Pollard in 11th, Aramis Germantis in 12th. And the top of the AMS, Ross Dunstane in 13th, with Daniel Porter in 14th, Darren Fell 15th, Craig Salter 16th, Guillermo Martinu in 17th place, Marcel Fritsch 18th, Yannick Hignett in 19th, Adam Starsneck in 20th, Dennis Meiser 21st, Austin Neal, Henning Stuttlager, Damian Harris in 24th, so second, Oliver Holtz, who will be our pole position man for race number 2 in 25th, Gordon Oberman 26th, Nikola Forzalippi 27th, and Nikolai Poloskov in 28th, which rounds out your field of 28.
So we will invert the top 25 when we go feature racing from Road Atlanta. Warm up underway now. Gives us a good opportunity to take a quick break here on Apex Racing TV. It's feature time when we come back. You're tuning in to the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship live on Apex Racing TV. Stick with us.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back to the virtual Road Atlanta. You're tuning into live coverage of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship live on Apex Racing TV. Joshua Lee here with you in the booth alongside Andy Thompson with Samuli Kumo down in the virtual production trailer. Andy, top 25 inverted after, we should note, a random draw to choose the top 25 invert for the feature race, but A lot of interesting faces going to be fighting from P25, most notably the driver who dominated the first heat, Bo Albert, who will be starting back in P25, having to fight through traffic.
Yeah, definitely. And as we were chatting through the break there, it's going to be exceptionally hard for these back markers, you know, safely to pass the amateur drives in front of him, because the first half of this course up to turn number 5 is pretty much a long procession you're going to have to keep unless you're going to make an ambitious move. But, you know, by making an ambitious move, you could actually wreck your race. So it'd be an interesting prospect coming up of what these pro drivers at the back are going to do to be able to get past the amateur drivers in front of them. So, you know, an added complication for this round over normal being such a large reverse grid of 25 places. So it's going to be an interesting race.
Oliver Holtke will start on the pole, and this is the most amount of AM drivers, I should say, starting in the top 12 that we have seen all season long. Damian Harris, Henning Stollinger, Austin Neal, and Dennis Meisner top 5. Adam Starzinski with Yannick Heinet, Marcel Fritsch, Kio Thiago Martau in P9 with Craig Salter P10. Darren Fell, Daniel Porter rounding out your top 12. Back from there, it's Ross Dunstan, Just Joe Montas, then the whole host of pro drivers through the mid to back of the field. Mikey Pollard, Scott Mokes, Jesse Heliaho, Lewis Ward, and James Parker with Max Kessler rounding out the top 20. Emil Vimbo, Thomas Wangen, Roger Christensen, Kim Strom, Bo Albert starting P25 with Gordon Oberman, Nikola Forzalippi, and Nikolay Polyakov. Your 28 drivers in the feature. Time to go racing for another 25 minutes around Road Atlanta, and we are underway. It's a terrible start in the back of contact around Bo Stollinger, packing in the middle of the field. Multiple drivers getting turned around. I believe Parker got turned. Heliano might have gotten turned as well. The 132 of Darren Fell is slow on the outside line. Multiple cars involved in a early wreck on the front straightaway after a disastrous start in the front of the field. Albert's already up 4 spots to P21. Everybody else single file as they race up the hill.
I mean, what a dramatic start to the race. I mean, that's the problem with having probably all the AMs at the front. They get a bit nervous coming off that line, you know, don't do what they normally do. Spin up the tyres, and all the pro drivers behind them are just racing up onto them. And we see, like we saw there, a big mass pileup. But luckily, you know, it was about 3 or 4 cars as we see Damian Harris going off there. So currently, terrible going towards the back end of the field. So Harris, after his tried to get to the reverse gear pole as an absolute disaster, and he currently finds himself in P24, so his tactics for the first race certainly haven't paid off here.
So Vimbo holding on to P12. Some pressure from Austin Neal behind him as Neal has fell back a good amount of spots. Max Kessler already up to 9th, up 11 spots from where he started. Martau is up 7 as Mokes goes around in the middle of 10A, 10B. And oh, another car going around. The 2 Fox Gaming drivers make contact. That's Kim Strom getting turned. Off track goes Christensen as well. 2 of the Fox Gaming drivers get caught up against each other and wrecking coming back on the track. I believe James Parker just got turned. No, it's Yannick Heinet who got turned as Dunstan goes into the pit lane as well.
Oh man, all the action here in the first lap of race number 2. Mokes obviously getting off, but a big pileup there. I'm not sure who was at the front. And obviously the 2 Fox Gaming cars just slightly tapped. Obviously I thought they had come together, but it didn't look like that. It looked like Christensen got hit, and then basically Strom actually just tapped him as well. So big incident there coming into 10A, 10B as the drivers are trying, these pro drivers are trying to get in, but what it's doing is causing carnage to the AM drives in front of us. We've got Craig Salter here coming off from P number 10, coming around turn number 7, I believe that is. Coming onto the back straight. So these pro drivers trying to get through the AM drivers, and it's causing absolute chaos at the moment. And the top place of the pro drivers is Jomantas, who's crept up there really, and is sat in 5th place at the moment. So Thiago Martin, who currently lead this race with Dennis Meisner in 2nd, Adam Starzinski in 3rd, Oliver Holtz in 4th, who was our pole sitter, and Arias Diamantis, the top of the pros, in 5th, or should I say 4th now, as he managed to get around Holtz there on the last corner coming into the start-finish straight. So all action here on the first couple of laps of race number 2.
And Diamantis is your current pro class leader for the moment, as Albert moving his way up into P12, halfway back to the front, but Emil Vimbo just at the fastest lap. Never mind, Kim Strom down to the top of the 120.579, but after contact with their teammate Roger Christensen, they both sit P21 and 23 on the racetrack currently. Max Kessler, P2 in the pro class. There's Bo Albert trying to now work his way around Craig Salter in the 289. There is all the drivers who have been moving up and down through the field. Max Kessler up 14 spots from starting P20. A magical start for the Impulse Racing driver. Bo Albert still trying to find a little bit of that magic as we go into 4 minutes down and 21 to go, as Porter now going to go by Ericus Joe Montes, put Daniel Porter back up into the top 4. Martel, Meisner, Starzinski, and Porter, 4 AM drivers currently commanding this field as they race into 10A-10B, and around goes Daniel Porter into the grass.
Yeah, definitely coming down there into turn 10A and 10B. Porter getting it slightly wrong. Be interesting to have a replay and see if that was a self-imposed or if he was helped along on his way, but currently piling down the order and is currently in P13 at the moment. So we'll have an onboard here coming down the straightaway with Germantis. Germantis had the inside line. Porter coming across trying to get that defensive line. So yeah, a slight little touch there from Germantis, but we pay the favour and then he actually comes off the track as well. So both the drivers there taking each other out really on turn A and B. So that's what happened there. So a couple of drivers back down in position. So Porter in 13. Germantis fared a little bit better and only down to P6.
Look at scrap heap back here as Vimbo tries to get around Salter. Contact to the front end of that 123 for Vimbo. He's going to barely cover off Salter as they come through turn 6. Now turn 7 dumps out onto the straightaway. That contains turn 8 and 9. They're going through 8 now. They'll be going through a little bit of a slight right-hander for turn 9. Then down into 10A and B, the final chicane on this course to complete the lap. Bit of a draft train starting up here. It's Harris at the tail end, then Porter, Salter, and Vimbo leading the way of this train. Look at the dive to the inside. They're gonna get side by side. That was Porter going for the move on Salter. Made it a little bit too late. Trying to go down the inside now is Porter, but Harris is there. Forces that door open. Put Harris up in a P13. Some great moves from Harris. Did not give up even when Porter was trying to push them down and trying to get that spot away from Salter. Harris did not give up. Put him back up in a P13.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be 3 car wars there, as we see car number 242 taking the alternate route through turns 3 and 4. So hopefully it was our pole sitter. It's just going backwards really from there. Currently in P13 for the moment with Porter right on this turn post as well. So it'd be interesting to see what actually happened. As we see Wimbo there getting a little bit wrong, coming out of turn number 5, losing a truckload of positions and making himself back down to P19 behind Christensen and Strom.
There's Christensen and Strom as they try and work their way back through the field. Remember, they made contact a little bit earlier on in this race. As Kessler moves up into P2, we could see Kessler have a battle for the lead here soon. But these two Fox Gaming drivers trying to move their way up further into the field, trying to get back to where they were in the heat race earlier on today. Damage to the front end of the 116, that's Thomas Wangin. We'll see if that affects him at all. He has Christensen and Strom in between. WS Racing Esports blue and red, and Oberman and Stullinger. One car into the grass as Wangin goes to the inside of Holtke and trying to get that spot. The 172 is off and into the tire barrier. That's Ericus Joe Montes starting to fall down the order. It looked like a bit of damage to that left end of that race car. Issues into turn number 1 for Joe Montes as Harris goes down the inside. Door promptly shut by Salter.
Yeah, definitely, and this is what I was expecting to see in race 2. These pros, like we were discussing, it's whether they hold back and try to do it or just try and get past the cars, and it seems to be more of the latter than the careful calculated passes, and it's causing a lot of incidents and a lot of the cars coming off on self spins as well. So I think it's got it all at the moment on this race, and the Fox Gaming guys had a terrible first lap where both of them got taken out. and trying to get that recovery drive up, but managing to get back up into the field. So currently banging in P10. Christensen moves up slightly there in front of Salter in P12, but Strom at the moment just struggling slightly there, back in 15th place. But these two Fox Gaming guys again up getting a lot into the action now with Harris, Damien Harris, car 153, as we watch him come round to complete another lap. So all interesting here going on in the second race, but Kessler at the moment, Max Kessler in P2, up 18 places from where he started. A dream race 2 for him at the moment. Slightly a little bit off Thierry Martineau at the moment, but up 18 place from where he actually started. This is going to be a great outcome for him if he can keep it going. As you can see, Martineau in front of him, but the gap is quite big at the moment.
Kessler in second place has Bo Albert starting to catch up. You can see the gap now. Albert to the leader, 9.5 seconds. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, but in these Porsches, that takes a while to close in. Not sure if we're going to see Albert move his way back up to the front, but up 19 spots from where he started, P25 in this feature race. A great run for Bo Albert is currently shaping up. Continuing to watch Max Kessler in the Impulse Racing number 176. Meisner and Starzinski go battling for Wraith Energy Racing and Evolve Racing in those third and fourth spots. Overall, there is the lap comparison between Kessler and Albert. This time by a 120.977, a 120.722 for Bo Albert. About 2.5 tenths quicker. Albert is catching as he goes up in a P5. Still has Starzinski and Meisner to fight with fourth and third. Then trying to catch up to Max Kessler and pass him for the Pro Class lead. Then catch Martau to pass him for the overall lead of this race.
Yeah, definitely. And one of our YouTube viewers, KM, obviously said, yeah, Kessler strong. Again, also very lucky, and that is a true, the amount of incidents we saw of the front runners hitting into each other, spinning each other around, has let some of the mid-pack runners actually gain a lot of places within this race. So obviously Kessler up 18 places, a strong race, but has been helped slightly by the spins that we have seen in races, taking 2 or 3 or 4 cars out. So nice easy passes for Kessler, but put nothing past him. A great recovery, getting up 18th places to be in second place and on track for a possible win in this race.
Mikey Pollard fighting from P6. Really, only 2 drivers in this entire race have not moved from their starting spot. Lewis Ward, exactly where he started, P18. Marcel Fritsch, exactly where he started in P8. Top 10 has now 4 AM drivers in it only. A lot of the pro drivers have already started to make their way back up into the top 10. Kessler leads the pro class, and Strom putting up the fastest lap of the race at a 120.167. That Fox Gaming machine wants to get back up to the front, trying their best right now as we race through, nearing halfway done with this race. In about 1 minute, we will be halfway done. Exactly same distance as the heat race, no difference in the time. Only difference was the invert starting grid. And now that invert has really been flopped on its head, as a lot of the drivers who started up front falling a little bit towards the back, and a lot of the drivers who started at the back are heading back up to the front. Look at this battle for P16. Scott Moak's able to get by a good amount of drivers. There's Overman losing a spot to Ward. Oliver Holtke now trying to get back by Scott Moak's for P16 on the racetrack. Still leading the way, it's Kio Thiago Martau. Max Kessler trying to chase him down as Bo Albert enters the top 5. He is right on that back bumper of Starzinski and Meisner. How quickly can Albert get by these drivers and really be able to catch up to Kessler and Martau at the front? He goes for the move in 1, able to get by Starzinski before they enter the corner. What is Meisner going to do? He leaves the door open. Here comes the 143 of Bo Albert, trying to get by Meisner as well, but he stays side by side. Maybe a little bit of contact, but Albert takes the spot.
Yeah, great passing there. I was holding my breath a little bit there with obviously the pass on Dennis Meisner coming through turns 3 and 4. Very ambitious move to try and get it, because there is only, like we discussed, only one real fast line coming through there. But but very experienced driver in these Porsche. Makes light work of the 2 amateur drivers, and now he's going to be closing down on Max Kessler, up 22 places from where he starts. I mean, if he manages to get this race win in race number 2, like you said, you know, he's definitely going to be the one to try and beat in this championship, if he's not already.
Well, Albert now in P3 leads to an interesting question, because just looking at my timing screen, a purple sector 2 was just set by Martau on that last lap. Could we see Martau continue to pull away even from Bo Albert, who has 2 feature race wins on the season? 120.505 from Martau, 2/10 faster than pro driver Max Kessler in P2. Watch the time for Albert. He was fighting in traffic, but still a 122 for him. This could be the first time this season, and maybe the only time, we're going to see an AM driver walk away with the win in the feature. Still a good bit of time left, about 11 minutes, but it'll be wild to see, Andy, a pro driver beating out some of the best pro drivers in Porsche competition in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship, and have an AM driver beating them all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen, we know that Martin is very quick in qualifying. We've always seen him in the top half of the grid, but has always come under some sort of issue within the races that's put him down in the position. I think the fortunate thing for himself in this race is he's managed to have that clean air in front of him, so he's able to pick his lines, be able to put the power down when he wants to, and he's got nobody around him to put any pressure on him at the moment, and is able to run his own race. So, you know, this race has probably worked out exceptionally well for him, as currently joined the battle here for P9, Wangan, Fritsch, Strom, Harris, and Salter at the moment. So it's exceptionally fast racing, and the Fox Gaming guys now all in sort of tandem between 8th, 9th, obviously Fritsch is 10th, and Strom in 11th. So these guys working really well to try and get the team, Fox Team Gaming, back onto the top 10 and get the decent level of points that they should, and they will close down on the team championship on the Logitech G-Altus Esports guys. But you know, great recovery considering where they were at the start of the race, and the terrible misfortune they had down into turn 10A and 10B, pretty much Strom and Christensen hitting into each other, unfortunately, and losing a lot of places. But great recovery guide from them guys, currently in P8, 9th and 10th. But yeah, with Martin, it could be on here. He seems to be very quick, certainly keeping up with Kessler and Albert in the pace-wise. So it'd be a hard push for the 2 guys in 2nd and 3rd at the moment to try and close them down.
And it's not like Martau even was gifted a reverse grade pole. He started back in P9, which obviously getting a lot of help from that. He finished about P16, P17 when it comes to the heat race, but definitely was not gifted a top spot and pulled away at the front. He had to pass drivers at the front, was able to do that. Great run here in the feature for Martau. We'll see if he can hold off Kessler and Albert, who are hungry for wins once more and continuing to fight. Gap at the front starting to close a little bit, but time is also starting to close a little bit. As we'll cross over into 17 minutes down, we'll have 8 minutes to go from Virtual Road Atlanta. We're taking a look at the battle for P5 right now. Starzinski and Hiliaho with Dennis Meisner at the front of this line. Hiliaho trying to become the 3rd pro driver in the top 5. Goes to the inside. Can they make the move? Gets a little bit loose through the braking zone of 6. Into 7. Close racing, maybe a little bit of contact on the doors. They'll make contact again, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Still side by side, contact once more, contact a 3rd time. They push each other almost off the track, opening the door for Salter. Mikey Pollard gets the door open for him. He's gonna try and go to the top 5. Side by side with Hiliaho now. Gonna have to back out of it as the 145 holds on to 5th.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Mikey Pollard profiting there from Hilialo and Starzinski, having a little bit of door rubbing coming down the back straightaway there, but excellent awareness there from Pollard to just capitalise on them to balance out a little bit too hard. Hilialo still managed to keep 5th, but as we see there, Starzinski managed to get past Pollard and back up to 6th place. So this Hilialo and Starzinski battle for 5th place will certainly go all the way to the wire, but don't count Mikey Pollard if these two start pushing the door rubbing scenario that we've just seen. So, bit of a contact there, and Mikey Pollard just getting pushed out wide, coming down from turn number 4, and yeah, losing 2 spots there. It's a bit hard coming down that hill, isn't it? If you get any slight touch coming down there, coming downhill on the off-camber corners, you are going to be pushed out wide on there, and unfortunately Mikey Pollard getting the wrong end of the stick there, dropping 2 places. So as we see the Fox Gaming in 7th, 8th and 9th again, all in a tandem line going down as the Fox Gaming. So certainly been working hard together, and it might be their plan for quite a lot of this race, but certainly a lot of action happened here in race number 2, and even with 6 minutes left, I'm pretty sure we're not done with all the action that's been on track.
Definitely can see why Fox Gaming runs in the Porsche Tactical Esports Super Cup. Take a look at the loose time for the 192. Kim Strom made a pass on their teammate in contact with Mikey Pollard. A hard slam to the tire barrier. And the 173 now with hard damage to the left side of that Porsche. It was small contact with Strom as they were trying to get that car resettled through the final corner. Pollard gonna tow it back to the pit lane. His race is over. Here's the replay. Strom got a little bit onto the curb, maybe a little bit on the grass, and slight contact with Pollard, and he sent him right around in hard contact to the tires.
Yeah, great awareness there from Mikey Pollard. Realised his car was damaged, letting the car go past and then getting off the racing line. You know, that could have caused a big incident, because as we can see there, there's like 3-4 cars just streaming past him, moving to the inside, and unfortunately having to go to the pit. So that'll put pay to his race. But, you know, up until that point, he was doing a great bit of work and having a really good battle there up in the top half of the grid. But unfortunately for him, just getting taken out there by one of the Fox driving, and obviously I'm pretty sure that'll probably go into an incident. So pretty sure the steward in this race number 2 might be a little bit busy as we watch Roger Christensen here getting past RCT for 6th place. He's got Dennis Meisner in front of him. You know, I'm just hopeful that Dennis has a good race. He always seems to have the pace, but has unfortunate incidents on races, and I don't think he's had a decent result. So, you know, it'd be nice for him to have a decent finish in this race, and at the moment doing exceptionally well. 2nd place in the AM at the moment, but has got Starzinski right on his tail for that 2nd place in the AM Championship at the moment.
So 4 minutes left. This is definitely going to be a really big shakeup in all of the points standings when it comes to both Pro and AM. Kio Thiago Martao came into this race 5th in the AM Championship. I have a feeling that is going to change a good bit after this race. Dennis Meisner is poised to hold on to the points lead, however, in the 213 Wraith Energy Racing Machine. He came in 2nd in this race. Daniel Porter came in as your points leader. But with Porter currently running P14, looks like Meisner might have a good opportunity to take that points lead away at the end of this race. And a huge send to the inside, trying to make it work. Contact between the 213 and the 231. That was Starzinski with the bold move, and that Evolve Racing Machine, he takes the spot. Multiple cars going off into the grass as Meisner's gonna fall to P9, and now here comes Harris, here comes Strom, and here comes Fritz to try and go by. Harris tries to make a look to the bottom on Starzinski. Can't do it. We're inside 3 minutes to go, and I believe we're going to see a white flag this time by, or 2 to go this time by, when Martel comes across the start-finish line, but the battles are far from over.
Yeah, definitely. Dennis Meisner there getting a bit swallowed up with the pros coming out. Really poor exit out of 10B with his coming together with Starzinski there and literally got swallowed up by the pro drivers around him. Still there in 9th place at the moment and still on par and on point to try and get them places back. But, you know, we know that Harris is a very quick driver and obviously was the reverse grid 2nd place for race number 2, but unfortunately had a spin. So a great recovery drive for him to get back up to P8 at the moment. But Dennis Meisner on his back and on a real charge at the moment, and really trying to get Starzinski, who's the car in front of him at the moment, to try and get that 2nd place on the AM. So doing everything he can to try and get him. But as we watch there, Strong coming around, we'll have the inside for turn 10B, so should get that position done, which demotes Dennis Meisner down to P10 at the moment.
Oh, Harris gets so loose coming through the final corner. He almost makes contact with another Porsche, able to get it slowed down in the sand trap. What on earth happened here to Damian Harris through the final corner? Gets a little bit up on the curb. Oh, grass touch right there. Gets loose, tries to save it, almost makes contact with Evolves Racing's Adam Starzinski in the 231. Able to get it slowed down enough, but man, that was a close call for Damian Harris getting loose. But a good day for the 153. Unfortunately gonna end in the pit lane, as Thiago Martel this time by will take the white flag with a 6.7 second gap over Max Kessler. And you talk about a perfect race for Martel. It is going to be looking like this last lap goes to plan, the first AM driver this season to walk away with an overall win.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's acquitted himself very well in this 2nd race. Kessler and Albert, no slouches by any means of the imagination, you know, but has managed to keep him at arm's length, and to, you know, he's probably extended the gap slightly over them. It was around about 5 seconds, now 6.8 seconds, but he's done an exceptional job up front. But you know, he's had the clear track and he's been able to cut his lines that he wants to. So we can see that when he's got the clear track, that he can actually do the fast times in there, as we're currently watching the battle hill for Porker, Hilialo and Christensen. Christensen right on the back of Hilialo in 4th place at the moment. So, you know, we're on the last lap, so he's got very little time at the moment for Roger Christensen to try and get past. But he's in a good position to maybe make that move into turn 10A. It depends on how well he gets these next 2 corners and how close he can get behind Hilialo down that back straight.
All the battles are going to end this time by the start-finish line. Demontis moves up into P19, put Overman down to P20, but at the head of the field, it's all Thiago Martel. And what a race for the AM driver. He breaks the streak of Logitech G-Altus Esports and is gonna win at Road Atlanta. Not only the AM class, but the overall win as well. What a day for the 222. And here's the battle, a lockup, contact, the 145 of Hilo slams into Christensen. Luckily, none of them go spinning, and Christensen now on the defense is gonna hold on to a 4th place overall, 3rd place in the pro class. Your pro winner is Max Kessler. Albert's gonna finish P3. And the Altus domination has just come to a close. It's Team Shazoo and Impulse Racing at the head of the field.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at all the top 7 drivers, all the pros that are in there, managing to get up at least like 18, 19, 22 places for Bo Albert. So, you know, managing to get through the melee that is the first couple of laps in this 2nd race. But, you know, an exceptional drive there from Thiago Martinu. And as you said, you know, started P9, so it wasn't like he was at the front of the grid. He did have to get past it. Luckily, was in front of all the incidents that was off the start line for race number 2. So had a good start away to try and get away. But as taken this race 2 by the scruff of his neck, and he's done an exceptional job keeping 2 very fast guys behind him at arm's length. So, you know, and having our first AM driver, I don't think that we will have that sort of scenario again during this season. So he should certainly be proud of his result, and having an AM at the top of grid is what we all want to see in this championship. So a great drive there from Thiago Martinu of Team Shazoo in Sport. But you know, Max Kessler and Bo Albert to get first in the first race and then get up into third place into that second race. I mean, what a drive from him anyway. And yeah, he's going to be just cementing his place at the top of the championship overall.
What a day for Martau. He deserves the burnout on the front straightaway here at Road Atlanta. The 222 is going to virtual victory lane here in virtual Brazelton. He takes the overall win and the AM class win. The first time an AM driver this season has taken that overall win. Max Kessler comes home in P2 with Bo Albert, Roger Christensen, and Jesse Heliaho, your top 5. Thomas Wangen, Kim Strom, Adam Starzinski, Dennis Meisner, and Scott Mokes, the top 10. Marcel Fritsch, Lewis Ward, Daniel Porter, Craig Salter, and James Parker, your top 15. Back from there, it's Henning Stollinger, Nicola Forza Lippi, Oliver Holtzke, Gordon Oberman, Ergistro Montes, then Gordon Oberman, rounding out your top 20. Then Ross Dunstan, Nikolay Polyakov, Austin Neal, Damian Harris, Yannick Hynet, Mikey Pollard, Emil Vimbo, and Darren Fell, the top 28 finishers on the day. And that concludes a amazing day of action here from Road Atlanta. And there is your feature race results now up on the screen. You can take a look at them as we enter into the post-race show. And I believe, Andy, first of all, we are going to speak with our heat number 1 winner. And third place overall in the feature, Bo Albert, now joining us here in the broadcast booth. And Bo, we'll start with heat number 1. It was domination from you after qualifying on the pole. That Logitech GLTC Esports Porsche looked like it was handling well out there for you today.
Might have looked like it was handling well, but I can assure you it was a very sketchy, very loose, very nervous Ultimate Esports Porsche. So those first few laps in particular, those Fox cars looked very, very quick compared to me. I was just, sort of tiptoeing, waiting for the tires to come to pressure until I just get that confidence and stability in the tire. And eventually that did come to me and I was able to push a bit more. And then I think the Fox cars tripped over themselves a little bit as well. So that allowed me to skip away, make that margin and bring it home. But I can assure you it wasn't as easy as it may have looked.
And going through into the feature, obviously a random top 25 invert. Not exactly, I think, what you had in mind for an invert there, but starting back in P25, going through the start, obviously a lot of carnage on the start as well, but just working your way up through the field, how difficult was it to get through that traffic? Because it looked like about midway through that feature race, you had already gotten out of most of that midfield traffic and you were trying to pick off cars up in the top 10.
Yeah, I got a little bit lucky, I have to say. I played it very, very safe at the start. I obviously knew that there was no need to get into a lap 1 incident myself, so I just hung back a little bit. Actually lost, I think, 3 spots in the opening few corners just because I was trying to take it easy. But there was obviously then an incident, I think, through the S's and then another one going on into the final chicane on the opening lap as well. So admittedly, I did have life made a little bit easier than it perhaps otherwise could have been. So it could have been a very, very different race. But yeah, no, thankfully was able to sort of get some clean air, get away from the Fox cars as well. And just quickly, I want to shout out Roger Christensen as well. I did make a little bit of contact with him in a big, nose to tail checkup. I don't think there was much more I really could have done, but regardless, contact was made, so an apologies there to him. But yeah, I was able to sort of pick off cars one at a time and get my way onto the podium, which is very, very cool from 25th. But those top 2 were driving extremely strong today. They can be very proud of their pace and, it may be an invert race, but they very much deserve their results today as well. So kudos to them.
Well, halfway through the season, you're going to extend your lead in the pro class points standings. Road America, Motegi, Bathurst, and Red Bull Ring on the horizon. Let's focus on Road America, staying on the American side of the pond. How does it feel going to Road America, and what's your confidence level heading in that you can walk away with your 3rd feature race win of the season?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a good confidence booster to head into Road America having another strong result in the championship, so I can sort of breathe easy in terms of points and just have a bit more fun at Road America, where we'll probably get the screwdrivers out, take the rear wing off entirely, and have some very fun slidey cars to race around there. So that should be a good show. But very much like Road Atlanta today, I think it will be very hard to break away there. So I fully expect to have some pack racing at Road America. So bring it on, I say.
Well, thank you very much for joining us post-race here in the Apex Racing TV commentary booth. Bo, congratulations on your P3 finish, and Pete Sue in the Pro Class Championship here from Road Atlanta.
Thanks very much, guys. All the best.
Good to hear from Bo Albert, and we transition over here in the post-race show to Scott Mokes, P10 overall finisher, finishes P7 in the Pro Class here today. He's standing by with Andy Thompson.
Scott, welcome to the commentary box. So obviously finishing P10th in that second race, having the reverse grid that we had. How has the event gone for you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting having a reverse grid for the first time. There's a lot of carnage happened, unfortunately getting turned around, but it's happened. But it was a real challenge going back through the field. Me and Lewis there were fighting through together for most of it. It was quite good fun there, the second race,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm just looking at your results there. Obviously, started off with a P19 in Charlotte, and then you seem to be getting progressively better. So a P9 in the Hungaroring, P4 last week, and obviously you got a P7 in the championship this week. So you certainly seem to be growing into the Porsche 922. Are you finding that you're starting to get to grips, being that it is a relatively still a new car within iRacing, and are you feeling you're getting a lot more confident with it?
I mean, it's really hard to learn a car that's so new as well, and this is my first time doing any league racing, so it's been an absolute whirlwind for me to figure out what to do. But yeah, we've put in the practice and finding a bit more pace every week, so I'm getting closer and closer to the front. That's all I'm really here to do, is get closer with the quick boys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you certainly got the pace on track, and one thing I would like to say, I love your livery. I think it's absolutely amazing. I don't think there's no way that we could miss that was Scott Moak's car in the livery that you've come into this Porsche Championship, which all the guys have done an exceptional job, but I think yours is probably one of my favourite out there.
Much appreciated. I thought I'd bring some 90s vibes in with some bright colours so I could be seen.
Yeah, so obviously we got staying over in America for the next round in Road America. How are you looking forward to that track? And obviously I'd imagine being an iRacing favourite track that you know it quite well.
Yeah, I do love that track. And the same here, I anticipated for coming through the field and not qualifying that well, so I trimmed out my wing, which gave me a lot of straight line speed here, but it's the same next week, so we're trimming out that wing again and trying to get some passes on the straight.
Yeah, I'd expect all you pro drivers to be probably running zero wing around Road America and seeing some sliding movement around the second half of the track, coming around the carousel, coming back down into Canada Corner. So that's going to be certainly interesting. So we've had the two different types of formats. So tonight we had the A format. The first three rounds were the B format. We got the A format again for Road America. How do you find the difference between the two, and which one's your preference?
It's really different. The way the tyres burn out and the fuel usage, the weight at the front of the car changes so much on these long 25-minute races. So there's a lot of it's more of a long game. These two long races, which I prefer. It's hard to say. I do like the sprint races, which are 12 minutes. There you can just go flat out. You don't even have to think about anything, tyres or anything like that. You really have to think about the 25 minutes a lot. So preference, I don't know. I'll have to do a bit more, and I'll let you know after a couple.
You can let us know next week if you come back into the booth. You can let us know. But you have got one more heat format, which is Bathurst coming up. So that'll certainly throw the cat amongst the pigeons in that race, because that is an extremely hard track, I think, anyway. But everyone's Marmite track, I think, that one. But thanks very much for joining us in the commentary box, Scott. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, I've got my family watching for the first time doing on this. They've missing out on the real racing, so this is giving them another boost to actually see what I'm getting up to these days. So yeah, hi to the family, and yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, Scott. Good luck for the rest of the season, and we hope to see you back in the commentary box after the next round, and you can let us know which one you prefer then.
Will do. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Scott. Yeah, Scott Mokes there, finishing 10th in the second race, 7th overall in the pro standings. So interesting race tonight, Joshua.
And we're definitely going to see a lot more interesting racing as we go down the calendar. Like I was talking about with Bo Albert, we have Road America coming up in 1 week's time. Then we go over to Japan for Motegi, then over to Australia. Bo Albert's going to feel really at home there at Bathurst. Then over to Austria, the Red Bull Ring for the final race of the season. Still a ton of action. We are only halfway done with the campaign. The action is only going to improve from here on out, and we hope that you'll join us same time 1 week from now on October the 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. GMT for the next round of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. For myself, Joshua Lee, Andy Thompson alongside, and Samuli Kumo down in the production trailer. We hope you enjoyed today's action from Virtual Road Atlanta, and we'll see you in 1 week's time from Virtual Road America as the Porsche Cup Championship continues.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.